Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, I'm Jody, and you've picked a good video to watch if this is your first one because it is Friday face-off time. This is one of the videos I do every other Friday, and we take two beloved products, or at least two products that are in the same category, and put them on side by side so that you can see how they apply. Do they do what they say they're gonna do? And best of all, do they last? Today we're talking about two highly rated drugstore foundations. One is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop, and the other one is the L'Oreal True Match. This is not the True Match Nude, this is True Match. The biggest difference is this is an actual foundation, where the True Match Nude is more of a serum, and it has 1% hyaluronic acid, so it is definitely meant for dry skin. These are both meant for normal skin, although this one does highlight that it is really good for oily skin. So just know that. A little bit more to know about these. One is a matte and one is a natural finish. You might prefer one over the other just based on the finish. And when it comes to coverage, one is medium coverage, one is full coverage. I don't know that I found that to be the case during application, so I'm gonna walk you through the entire review, go deep dive into both of these products, and then we're gonna do an 8-hour comparison to see how they held up. It's also important to note that I have combination skin. I'm oily through the T-zone and dry on the cheeks. So we'll be able to see how these products wear under different skin types. And lastly, I'm not gonna use a primer before either of these products or a setting spray or setting powder after these products, because I want you to know how these wear without having to have extra products. So if you are ready to get ready with me and test two drugstore foundations on this mature face, so you know at the end which one might be the better option for you, come join me. We're gonna get unmade up and then made up again together. First up is NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I have it in color Light Ivory. This is a full coverage matte foundation. The reason I'm going with a matte, you guys, is I have really liked the way matte foundation looks on my skin lately. For a long time, I was anti-matte because I felt like as we age or we had more mature skin, that matte foundation looked a little dull and drying to the skin. And I've changed my perspective on that a little bit. I have been wearing matte foundations for the last probably, I don't know, through summer, and I've had more compliments on my skin since I've done that. So I did want to try this matte foundation just to see, does it look good? Is it too drying? The only thing I have on my skin right now is a sunscreen. I don't have on any moisturizer, no primer. I really wanted to eliminate all of the products leading up to the foundation, or that the foundation would sit on, just so we would know how does it wear all by itself, so that you don't have to layer different products to get a similar look as the one that I'm gonna get today. Now this sells for $15 and comes in 46 shades. Again, I have it in Light Ivory, which might be a little light for me, but never fear, you can always add some bronzer to darken that up and give you some dimension to your face. This foundation has 4.1 stars on Ulta with over 3,700 reviews, and it's NYX, so it's cruelty-free, it's vegan. They say it's waterproof, lightweight, and transfer-proof. I will say it feels very lightweight, and for being a full coverage, it goes on nicely. It seems like it's blending nice. That color is a little too light for me, but I can warm that up with some bronzer, so that I'm not concerned about. But look at the coverage that you get, and while it says it's full coverage, that doesn't feel super full or thick or heavy at all to me. It is a liquid formula, which I love to use liquid formula when it comes to more mature aging skin. And this is infused with vitamin E, so you get a little bit of skincare in this foundation, which I also love. Now the fact that it is matte, if we find that we really like this foundation, and maybe you're like, well, I don't like a matte finish, but I like the way that foundation wears, you can always use a dewy setting spray to give your finish more of a satin or natural finish versus a matte finish. If you have, on the other side, if you've got a glowy finish to your foundation and you want matte, you can always use a mattifying primer. I don't want to get you too confused, but if we love this foundation but you don't like matte, you can always put a little setting spray on top of it. So I don't think we need too much of this foundation, you guys. That covers really nicely. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer because I feel like I need to warm it up some, give myself some color. I feel a little bit, I mean, it is almost Halloween, so if I wanted to be Casper the Ghost, I guess I've got the right color foundation to do that. I'm really curious to see how this wears because again, it didn't go on like a full coverage foundation to me. Even though this is a thicker formula and it says it's full coverage foundation, I don't feel it on my skin at all. And it went on and blended more like a medium or sheer foundation formula actually. So really impressed with that. I love the way it looks. It covered up all that imperfection. I might even, you know what, I might even use this as a concealer because I love it so much. Let's just add a little bit up here to conceal or brighten that under eye area. Okay, NYX. I like, you know, NYX products. Their pencils are hands down some of my favorite. Their lip liner pencils and their eyebrow pencils and their eyeliner pencils. I haven't really ventured too far into the NYX realm of things. Every once in a while I'll grab a NYX product, but admittedly I haven't tried any of their liquid foundation formulas or anything like that. Their primer, yes, I love, but not a foundation, and I'm kind of impressed with this. Heading over to L'Oreal, this is their True Match. I have it in color N3. This is a medium coverage natural finish foundation. This has 4.4 stars on the Ulta website with over 4,000 reviews. This is a little better match for me, so I'm glad that I did that. This is L'Oreal. It's vegan, it's not cruelty free, but it is fragrance free and free of alcohol, so I do like it for those reasons. This also has nice coverage. You can tell the difference right off the bat between the finishes. The coverage looks somewhat similar, but definitely more of a matte finish, less shiny, versus a natural finish, which has a little bit more shine. I don't mind a shiny finish. I just, for some reason, as of late, have preferred the final look of my makeup for the day with a more matte foundation finish. Not super matte. I don't like it to look dry. I think a matte foundation for me has just looked more polished. Maybe that's what I like about it. But this looks like it has medium to full coverage to me. The difference in consistency between the two, here is the L'Oreal. It's definitely a thinner liquid formula where the NYX is a little bit thicker. You would think that this wouldn't cover as good, but that's not the case. I can tell that the coverage is pretty similar to me in terms of covering up the imperfections on my face. It's very blendable. Let's see if it's buildable though. Let me just add a little bit more to see if you do want more coverage, can you get it? And I think the answer will be yes. I mean, if there's a brand that knows foundations that's been around for a long time to work with different skin types, it would definitely be L'Oreal. I'm curious to see how both of these foundations wear on my combination skin. So if you have oily skin, we'll be able to review this and see how well these work. And if you have dry skin, we'll be able to see how they're holding up in the dry patches. I don't know which one I want to use on my nose. This one's in my hand. Let's just go with this. Give myself a little bit of foundation right down the center of my nose. I'm going to take that L'Oreal and just add it as a little bit of a concealer just to go underneath these dark spots under my eyes. I think I want to see how buildable this NYX is, because even though it says it's full coverage, I don't feel like I'm getting a full coverage out of it, but it is buildable because I just added a second layer and I think that looks really nice. Whether or not this will settle into fine lines and wrinkles with that second layer, time will tell, and I will be here to tell you as well. I'm gonna go in and add a little bit of bronzer just to the figure 8 of my face so that we have somewhat of a balanced look. Last, I'm gonna add a little bit of cream blush. This is Hope by Rare Beauty, and just put a little bit right on the high parts of my cheekbone. I love this Hope by Rare Beauty. It's my favorite color, I think, that I have found in a long time. I am really enjoying Whim by Hourglass. That's been a good favorite of mine as well in terms of blush lately. And yeah, that's just such a nice natural look. I hope it picks up in camera the difference in the finish between these two products. That NYX is definitely a matte, but it's not a drying, overly dry matte, if you know what I'm saying. It to me just looks like a nice polished professional makeup look. Where on the L'Oreal side, it's pretty and it does have that natural finish, which is a little bit of a glow. And there was a time last year, I think, that I really liked that look, but I'm in a different phase of my makeup routine right now, and I just like the look of a little bit more of a matte. You do like matte, but there's parts of your face that you want to be a little shiny, add just a little bit of highlighter, or again, you can add a setting spray that adds a natural glow to your skin. And then you've got the best of both worlds. Let me add a touch of lipstick. So that is what the two products look like side by side. I think they're both beautiful, and maybe the question is, do you prefer a matte finish versus a natural finish? In terms of coverage, even though this one says it's medium, I feel like it's the same type of coverage as this one. So medium to full is probably a safe answer. So let's go throughout the day. We're not gonna set these with a setting spray or a setting powder. We're just gonna see how they wear on their own so that you know if you like the finished product. Here's what these look like right after application, and here's what they look like at the 8-hour mark. And boy, do I have some thoughts. So I think that maybe the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop name means that it can't stop, won't stop settling into fine lines and wrinkles. That's maybe what they meant by the name of this. All kidding aside, you guys, this is a thick formula, and I knew that going into it, but I have used other thick formula foundations before and it has worked okay. This at hour 3, maybe 4, really became just an ugly foundation on my skin. It really highlighted any of the lines that I have through here, really took a life of its own, I think, in some of this orange peel, enlarged pore areas, and it looks equally as bad in the oily parts of my skin as it does in the dry parts of my skin. The coverage is still there, but the lasting effect of highlighted wrinkles has just ruined my makeup day. So for NYX, I will stick with their eyebrow pencils, eyeliner pencils, and lip liner pencils, but this is definitely not for anybody that has a line on their face anywhere. Coverage is good. Coverage is definitely held in place, but it just settles way too much. Even my husband, who is so sweet, looked at my face today and said, "Are you trying a new makeup today?" And I said, "Yeah, why do you ask?" And he goes, "I don't know, this just something looks off right here." And I had to agree with him. It definitely looks off. In terms of the L'Oreal, now remember this one was the medium coverage. We did build it and it has a natural finish. I prefer a matte finish, but not this matte finish. You can put a mattifying primer under this to get a matte finish, but the shine is a beautiful, healthy shine. It's not excessively shiny. It is a really pretty finish to the skin. It doesn't feel like I had makeup on all day. The coverage is good. We built it so you can get medium all the way up to full coverage with this if you have some spot areas that require more coverage. Love the coverage, love the finish. I love the fact that my lines and pores are not accentuated, and at a price point between $13 and $15, this is a really good option. I also like the fact that between my oily parts of my skin and the drier parts of my skin, it doesn't look like the foundation wore differently. Some foundations, if they're really meant for dry skin, they have hyaluronic acid, and sometimes they're too emollient on oily skin, and you just start to look really shiny. That wasn't the case with this. This was good for the oily parts of the skin as well as the dry patches. So this is an easy one for me. And what I like about this one is this is an easy selection for a lot of different skin types. Whether you have oily skin, dry skin, whether you have a little bit of coverage or you want more full coverage, or sometimes a combination of both, and a foundation that doesn't settle into fine lines and wrinkles, then this L'Oreal True Match would be the winner for me, hands down. Really impressed with this Drugstore foundation. So there is a clear winner today, and I'm actually really impressed with this foundation. I hope you enjoyed this Friday Face Off. If so, let me know what other Friday Face Off products you'd like to see in upcoming videos, and I'll try to add them to the docket. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in just a couple days. Bye-bye.